Kalinowski are absent. Mr. Bush?
Here.
Vice President Darrow?
Here.
President McClelland?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have had the chance to review the minutes from the last meeting. Without any changes, could I ask for a motion to approve the board minutes?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Darrow and Mr. Bush.
We'll be switching off.
I know. Roll call, please.
Vice President Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
President McClelland?
Yes, those are approved. Now for today's agenda, any additions or corrections to the agenda?
President McClelland, Board of Education members, Section 7, Personnel, Item number 2, we have a correction for first name of Nikki Cray, should say Nicole. So it's noted in your agenda, but that is the correction for first name.
Okay. With that being the only correction, could I have a motion to approve today's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Bush and Mr. Darrow, roll call, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Vice President Darrow?
Yes.
President McClelland?
Yes. That brings us to discussion items. Mr. Sawyers.
Thank you, President McClelland. Discussion item for this morning is board policy. So on board agenda for approval this morning are the second readings for 14 policies related to additions or corrections to board policy that we spoke about at our last Board of Education meeting. I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have, but this is the second reading based upon the presentation at the last meeting.
Any questions? Okay. Then moving on to public participation, first opportunity. With no one here because everybody's probably still asleep this morning. I'd like a motion on treasurer's items, please.
So moved.
Mr. Darrow, Mr. Bush.
Second. I think you're out of order.
I jumped the gun just a little bit there. Ms. Jenkins.
This is too much happiness at 8 o'clock in the morning. So financials, I have a list of things, so I want to thank all of you for making this happen when we knew we were going to have to cancel the 25th. I almost had a heart attack. So revenues, we continue to collect more than what we expected, especially in the area of personal property tax or general property tax, and we've talked about that. You can see that we continue to spend less in both personnel and retirement benefits, et cetera. The majority of the personnel savings is through replacements, through attrition. We've hired lower than what we had anticipated, and then the new FTEs came in lower than what we had projected. The employee retirement and benefit, a portion of that is because of the reduced salaries, but a bigger portion of that is because of the insurance changes that we realized this year through negotiations. Then you'll also see supplies and materials are under for the year. This May and June are a big month for us to get as much paid as we can in the current year. So I expect that that will get closer to on plan once we get through June. Then we move to final appropriations. We do have 2 modifications. You'll see that we are increasing the general fund $3.7 million. That is to allow for the transfer that we're going to ask for next that I'll speak to. And then we had a $5,000 increase for the McCoy carpet purchase. If you remember, we agreed to that last month. So those are the 2 modifications. Then you go down to permanent appropriations. Those are our appropriations for next fiscal year. General fund is $64.3 million, and total all funds is $90.4 million. That includes every other fund, including federal, state grants, athletics, extracurriculars, et cetera. Then the transfer of funds, I have 5 listed, so we're transferring $3.5 million just from our regular general fund. 2.5 of that is the additional revenue that we realized this year. We talked about that at a previous meeting. And then I've also added another $1 million based on the reduction in the personnel and benefits, moving those funds over to PI for anything that, we don't have the money for, won't collect the money for. and to help honor the additional spend that we said we would continue to spend out of general fund for permanent improvements. Then the district in 2003 and in 2004, there was a requirement to set aside funds for textbook and capital improvements. Those have just been sitting in those funds. So what I want to do is just transfer those over to the permanent improvement fund. That's what they were set aside for. Both of those items can be spent out of permanent improvement. We have the annual $200,000 transfer into the McCoy fund, where we're the ones that take care of the custodial maintenance, all of those things. So we move that money every year. And then the last one is the $40,000 transfer to permanent improvement for turf replacement. The board, when they accepted the donation of the turf, did pass a resolution that we would transfer $20,000 a year because of the change with the athletic boosters. We don't know the new Eagle backers. That's not their obligation. The old athletic boosters is no longer in existence. The field will need replaced at some point, so we have determined that we should begin to transfer a little higher amount into that account to help with that. I do know there was around $80,000 left from that fundraising event that sits at the foundation, so we will have that money. But to replace a field is somewhere around $400,000 to $500,000. So we're trying to plan for that.
Have Eagle backers talked to us about providing some dollar amount, or are they really kind of beginning to focus on other things?
They're focusing on other things. I have had that conversation. Breakfast and lunch prices remain the same, but we have to approve those. Student parking permit is $25 per semester. That's the same as last year. And then the last item, or no, I have two other items. The OASBO IRS Section 457 plan documents. The district many years ago created a plan document to allow for 457 contributions. We are amending that to allow for Roth IRAs within that plan document. And then depository agreement asking to approve First Commonwealth Bank. It used to be Delaware County Bank, but was purchased by First Commonwealth Bank. We had an agreement with Delaware County Bank. We don't have any funds in there, but should there be an investment that is advantageous for the district, we would like to have that as an approval as well.
Sorry if I missed it, but what's the 600,000 all other financing uses? 593,629.
Those are the transfers for, I'm sorry, win-win.
Okay.
For the Columbus City School payment.
So it's not, it wasn't estimated at some fiscal year to date?
Yeah, we estimated $520,000. If you look at the far right column, I must have missed putting it in the fiscal year to date.
Okay.
But in the far right column, you see we expected it to be $520,000. It ended up being $593,000. And that's, I believe, it's a calculation, and based on our property value increases, the calculation was such that it was $590,000 this year. And that calculation is completely driven on what our value is versus Columbus City School values.
Any other questions? There aren't no more discussion. Could I have a roll call, please?
Vice President Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
President McClelland?
Yes. Moving on to superintendent's items A through D. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Bush?
Second.
Darrow? Mr. Sawyers?
Thank you, President McClellan. Letter A this morning is personnel action items, standard employee actions in preparation for things that are actually continuing throughout the summer, inclusive of home instruction for students with special needs or specific medical situations, and or approval for home instruction opportunities for next year. The one thing that I will highlight that's a little bit different on the agenda is Kate Toma, the assistant principal at the intermediate school, has announced her resignation. She's been selected to become an elementary principal in the Big Walnut School District. So this morning, the agenda includes an action item to hire Kate's replacement. We're pleased to welcome Megan Ballinger to the New Albany Plain Local School District as the assistant principal at New Albany Intermediate School. Mrs. Ballinger currently serves as a middle school assistant principal at Yorktown Middle School in the Columbus City Schools. She has extensive background in instruction, data analysis, data assessment, and improving instructional opportunities for students in classrooms. And we're very pleased that she has accepted the opportunity to join our school district as the next assistant principal. Mrs. Ballinger is here this morning. I'd like to invite her to the podium to greet the Board of Education and our community at large. Megan?
Good morning,
Good morning.
Superintendent Sawyers and board members. It is an honor and a thrill to join New Albany Plain Local Schools this morning. As an outsider to the district, it was always very clear to me that New Albany offered an excellent education to all of its students. And through the interview process and learning more about the district, it has become really clear to me that not only does this district successfully focus on student achievement and student growth, but also student well-being. And so I'm so excited to be a part of a district that is having students leave this campus that are academically prepared and also resilient, who are ready to face the adversity that life can throw at you. And so I'm very excited to partner with Mr. Garrity and Mrs. Nowak at the intermediate school to work with our family and community to empower our teachers, to work tirelessly for our students, who I'm so excited to meet. I even considered asking the small request of you to start school early this year because I really want to meet our students, but
That's not happening.
but after considering that might not be the best way to greet our faculty or our students, as I'm sure they're enjoying their summer, I will forgo that request at this time. But thank you, and I'm just so excited to get started.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Megan. Letter B this morning for general business items include the approval and preparation for 2018-19 of the dairy and milk and/or bread purchasing that comes through the competitive bid process through Meta Solutions. So we have to affirm it as a Board of Education that we're accepting the bids that were actually done on our behalf through the consortia. Field trip opportunities for students, as well as the student and teaching agreement. Letter C this morning are donations to the school district. As always, we're very thankful to all the benefactors that choose to provide funds and/or resources to our school district in a variety of ways. The most significant was a donation from a family at the middle school to specifically support the international EF learning opportunities for students. So we're very grateful for the scholarships that they provided to allow multiple students to be able to participate in the EF trips this summer. And lastly, approval of the second reading of the board policies that I spoke about earlier.
Any questions, discussion? With none, I will ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Vice President Darrow?
Yes.
President McClellan?
Yes. That brings us to our second opportunity for public participation. And seeing none, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Darrow, Mr. Bush, roll call, please.
Vice President Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
President McClellan?
Yes. And we are adjourned. Thank you.